Yes, people, here we go. They're back once again. We're getting deja vuage. It's time to get excited for the second instalment of the colossal Fury vs Usyk, or Usyk vs Fury, should I say? But the posters have all been saying Fury vs Usyk, ain't they? So fuck knows. Let's just call it what it is. Usyk vs Fury 2, and what a blinding first press conference it was. Last year Fury was on a mad one, so we all knew it was going to be another cracker this year, and it didn't half get tasty. Usyk said this.
No.
Then Fury said this.
Yes.
Then Usyk said this.
I don't know.
And that was about it. Fan-fucking-tastic. I'm sold. Hype me right up. It did anyway. No, luckily they don't need to sell it because we're all buzzing for part 2. But yes, people like to dissect these pressers. Who won the mind games and all that? Well, Fury was unusually humble. I didn't get the impression he's completely fired up for this yet. However, on the flip side, old Oleksandr certainly ain't lacking in confidence, is he? Have a look. Apparently he was dressed up like some movie villain, Agent 47 or something. I thought he looked more like that bloke from Little Fucking Britain myself. But anyway, yes, this man is oozing greatness, and if you do want to get into the conversation of who came out on top, then let's be totally honest. Making Tyson stand up and sign a picture of himself getting completely smacked about means there was only one winner. But anyway, what's happened in between? Where's Fury's head at after his first defeat, and what are we likely to see unfold on the night? So let's unravel it all now, shall we? First off, a little word on the undercard. It ain't too shabby, you know. We got the Romford Ball against the White Rhino, Battle of the Mullets. I'm sure this goes a little bit further than Johnny's last outing against Alan the Cabbage Babbage at the Copper Box Arena. Bloody hope so. Anyway, I bought a ticket for 50 quid and it was over in 30 seconds. Fucking smashing. I could have stayed at home, spent 50 quid on a bit of webcam action, which would have lasted 30 seconds as well, and I wouldn't have had to go all the way to fucking Stratford, the shithole. Anyway, yes, who knows what Dave Allen's gonna bring. We all love Dave, but it's fair to say, boxing-wise, he's been a bit flat for the past few years, dipping in and out. And in the end, it's hard to see this being any more than just a collection of one last paycheck. Even though he smashed up Johnny in sparring many moons ago, this version of Johnny should simply be too much, too fast and too ferocious for him. But bring it on, the Romford Ball fights are always good fun. And then we've got Dennis McCann versus Peter McGrail. These two get on like E.T. in a fucking long jump. That's got 12 round slugfest written all over it, very 50-50. Isaac Lowe and Lee McGregor, not too bad. Then Atuma versus McKean. Well, yes, a humongous step up for Moses from facing Journeyman and most recently Marius Wack. Fair play. I mean, Dempsey ain't too bad, you know. He may not look like the most lethal heavyweight about, but he is pretty solid. So if this 19-year-old kid were to blast out the well-schooled southpaw in McKean, who recently took Hrgovic most of the way, then we really have got to say for certain we now have a new superstar on our hands. Personally though, I don't think it's going to be a walkover. He's pretty tough, old Dempsey, and this is the first opponent for Moses who actually brings some boxing skill and some threat. So I feel like it could go into the late rounds, this one, which would be interesting to see because we don't know enough about Atuma's tank, his stamina and his chin yet, so hopefully we find out a bit more about it. But either way, from the eye test, it is hard to see anything else but an Atuma win simply because of his phenomenal angles and his ferocious speed. So look forward to that one. Bring it on. And then finally, Boachuk versus Madrimov. That's bound to be an absolute fucking war, and that's that. But anyway, yes, come on, Fury versus Usyk 2. Usyk versus Fury 2. Yes, whatever. Now what we saying? Well, unfortunately for old Tyson, it's not for the undisputed this time, and I've got no idea if he's actually fuming about that or he don't give a monkeys.
The IBF are not involved this time, so I can't get a shit result from them. The IBF have not even rated me in their top 15 in the rankings when everybody else has. So what does that say? And they're the ones who's fucked me and my career, really.
I remember speaking to you on the Chisora free fight week, and you said, actually, I'm not bothered if the IBF's not in the line with Usyk.
I wouldn't be bothered, and I'm happy they're not.
Yeah, let's be honest, he is obviously a little bit rattled about it because the undisputed is kind of out of reach now, possibly for the rest of his career. Now, I know we should take what he says with a pinch of salt because one day it's this, the next day it's that, but regardless, some mad things have been said in the recent flurry of Fury interviews that we do need to talk about. So let's get the old bollocks-ometer back out and see if it's still working.
It was actually a lot easier than I thought it would be, the Usyk fight. It was like I was in there with a local amateur boxer.
Mauricio, great to see you. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing...
Yes, terrific stuff. It's still working fine. And, Lawrence Okoli 5th. Is that a fucking wind-up? Al Salami strikes again. Anyway, here we go.
He's pretty good though, right?
Yeah, he's a good
Best
boxer.
you faced?
No, nowhere near. Nowhere near. No. I think the fights were wilder when you bounced off the canvas 2 and 3 times and 10 knockdowns, and at any given moment, you can be took out is a lot more dangerous than having a boxing match with this guy.
Right, nowhere near, he said. Bloody hell, is he for real? Anyway, let's nip it in the bud. He lost the fight, and most of the world would agree that he lost the fight, but on top of that, he nearly got knocked spark out, and for the first time in his career, he was outboxed. Yes, okay, Deontay Wilder has always been a scary bastard, granted, but outside of his wild swings that could send your head into fucking Narnia, there was no other difficulty for Fury because he's better in every other department. Not to mention, Wilder can't win a fight these days, now he's facing people of a level, so Usyk was obviously his hardest fight. Next.
I know he's got no power. I took his best shots, 5 shots, and smiled. 5 shots couldn't drop me. I looked back at him and smiled.
Yeah, okay, well he did recover well in this fight, fair play to him for that, but let's have it right, the ropes kept him up, otherwise he would have been on his arse. Next.
I know he was injured badly after the fight. I know he had a broken face bone and a broken jaw.
So yes, Team Fury are still banging on about the injuries that never actually happened. I just don't know why, really.
But he said that you broke your jaw in the first fight. Can you clarify this? Did you or did you not break any bones or jaws or anything?
Him not break me my job. Not, it's not true.
And next up we have the well-respected Andy Lee.
What does he need to do more of? What does he need to do to be better?
He needs to be fitter, more sparring. He didn't have any sparring due to a cut. He just needs to be fitter, and that will make a big difference.
Yes, so recently we've heard a lot about this no sparring because of the cut, and yes, if he couldn't spar for the final couple of months, then okay, that's not ideal, but Andy keeps saying fitness let him down and he's going to be fitter in the next fights. But, well, you know, he did have months to prepare. He had 8 months from the Ngannou fight because of the rescheduling and the cut, plus bear in mind he was already pretty fit from the Ngannou fight, so I mean, how unfit was he? I don't know, I love Andy Lee, but I'm not sure about that one anyway.
Fight fans, Black Friday has come early this year, and we're ripping up our prices for a limited time only. Get the heaviest hitting deal of the year. Save up to 33% on all plans, and stack up your fight calendar with over 150 fights a year. Live on DAZN.
What a fight we have here in our main event!
And then enjoy a knockout November schedule. Subscribe before November 29th. Sign up at DAZN.com/boxing.
It's worth mentioning some of these things because it gives us an understanding of where his head's at after his first loss. Will he come in with bundles of confidence thinking he won the first fight, or will he come in with less confidence knowing deep down he lost? Who knows? But by the sounds of it, all this narrative from Team Fury seems like a way of convincing himself that he did actually win the first fight and that he was hard done by on the scorecards. It's like when he needed that pointless press conference a couple of weeks prior to the fight to get everyone massaging his bollocks and boosting his confidence. I don't know, it all just feels a bit false to be honest, but that's just me. Anyway, that's all by the by, but what goes down this time, eh? What we expecting? Well, going back to that first fight build-up, I was absolutely 100% sold on Usyk winning. I just couldn't make a case for Fury whatsoever for multiple reasons. I didn't think he'd been taking the sport seriously. He'd struggled with smaller fighters in the past. His calibre of opponents and poor performances of recent times in no way set him up to be able to beat an absolute genius of the sport, and in a nutshell, I just thought Usyk was too good. So I was convinced that Fury would come unstuck on the night, which he did. But this time around, it's bound to be a completely different fight. First of all, Fury has a good track record of always performing a lot better in his rematches. Secondly, he just didn't rough up Usyk as much as he could have done. He never used his size to his advantage. But best believe I don't think he'll make that mistake in part 2. And thirdly, I feel like we're bound to see him all guns blazing this time to actually try and demolish Usyk instead of just trying to outbox him. Not to mention, it was very close. I know Usyk won, but it wasn't easy, especially in the mid stages. And how much better can Usyk actually be in this fight? I just don't know. That may have been his best performance. So this is sure to be very interesting. I wouldn't be surprised to see an absolute shower of shit come down on Usyk this time round in the rematch. Absolute total carnage, bullying and mauling. Fury trying to blast him out the same way he did to Wilder the second time round. Of course, Usyk ain't Wilder, he's leagues above, but having seen him look uncomfortable against AJ and Chisora when it's heavily put on him, with Fury's size and ability, when he puts it on Usyk, it really could be a bit of a nightmare for the Ukrainian. But the problem is, will he be able to keep it up? If Fury does do all that and he goes for broke but wears himself out, then Usyk survives the onslaught. Later on, there's no other way of saying it, Fury's probably gonna be fucked. It's just very difficult to see him being able to put it on Usyk for the duration. He couldn't do it last time, and I don't see why he'd be able to do it this time. I mean, he ain't as fit as he used to be because of age, but also he's battered his body about, going from Homer Simpson to great shape, then back again. You can't all of a sudden turn back the clock, even though Andy Lee thinks he can. Whereas on the flip side, we all know Usyk's fitness is always on point. Even with his age, this man does 12 rounds with ease, and he's more active for them 12 rounds than some of the best featherweights in the world, all because he's looked after himself. Fury couldn't have boxed any better in them middle rounds last time, but just like every single Usyk fight, the inevitable eventually happened. He stepped it up a gear in them late rounds and went on to run away with it. When he says this,
I will not leave you alone.
let me tell ya, he fucking means it. So yes, I feel like it's a sure thing Fury's going to be the aggressor he should have been originally, and Usyk's going to find himself in some sticky situations. But should Usyk be able to weather the Fury storm that is almost certainly coming, and he certainly can because this man's got all the tricks in the book, he may just end up taking over once again. But either way, I can't fucking wait. So let me know how you see it going this time below, and I'll see you soon. And by the way, don't forget to check out the podcast on Wednesday. See you later.